In this video, we're going to explore the top 4 things to consider when deciding whether to liberate a city-state or add it to your empire. Here we have Mogadishu, made famous by the movie Black Hawk Down.
Get to the chopper!
I know it's the wrong movie, but it kind of works. We're going with it. Your hero is playing Nader Shah of Persia, and the very rude villain that took my city-state is Theodora of the Byzantine Empire. We're now at the point where we can kick her out and either free the good people of Mogadishu or welcome them to our empire by force. Now let's check out the benefits of liberating Mogadishu. During the medieval or earlier era, you would get 3 envoys. You would get 6 envoys during the Renaissance or industrial eras and 9 envoys in later eras. You can combine that with the merchant confederation policy to get gold per turn based on how many envoys you have, so that could have multiple benefits that you could tie together. Now you would also take into consideration whether you have these buildings that would benefit from the extra envoys in Mogadishu. If you have tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 commercial or harbor buildings in the city or in your empire, they would benefit from these extra envoys being in Mogadishu, which we do not currently have, so that isn't really a consideration for us. Now the suzerain bonus is another thing to consider, whether this is going to be super beneficial to you or not. In this case, your trader units are immune to being plundered on water tiles. We are not really using any trade routes that are going over water, and they're all basically domestic trade routes. So in this case, that's not that great for us. Typically, on a lot of maps, that is a pretty good bonus, so you would probably want to hang on to that. But in this case, it doesn't affect our gameplay at all. Another thing is you get 100 diplomatic favor for liberating a city-state. In this case, we are generating positive diplomatic favor right now, so we could look to go for diplomatic victory points by influencing World Congress with our diplomatic favor, but we tend to play warmongery and plan to execute that style. So we're planning to lose our diplomatic favor at some point because everybody will be mad at us. So the best thing to do right now, if you're going to liberate it, and what you could use that diplomatic favor for, is just to sell it. Now, if we're going to keep this city, is it in a good location? It is right next to our empire, so in that sense it would fit right in. Does it have good unique resources that you can use? Does it have that elusive niter or aluminum node? We're a little too early for that, but in this case it does have iron, it does have lobsters, so we would get a luxury resource that we don't have, and an iron node. We have a couple iron going, but we don't have an iron mine. That might be useful, but we might be past the point where that matters that much. Are there any districts that are useful? In this case, we have a campus that is currently pillaged by these barbarians, but it is in a spot where there is no science being generated from it other than for the campus and the buildings that would theoretically be in there. So that district is not providing a whole lot of benefit and wouldn't be much for a consideration in this case. The next thing to consider is, can I hang on to this city? Am I in a position to keep it with loyalty, and can I defend it from nearby enemies? So let's explore this with Mogadishu. We'll take the city here, and then let's check it for loyalty here. We'll toggle city details, go to the loyalty and governors tab. It's rising at 17 a turn, so this would be very easy as it's located next to us without a lot of outside influence. So that would have no problem being kept with loyalty. Can I defend it from nearby enemies? Really the only enemies are these barbarians, but since this is barbarian clans, they actually can wipe this city out, so I would have to be able to defend it, but I should be able to do that. The evil Theodora here is nowhere close to being able to come and take it from me, so in that case, that is another reason to hang on to it. And the final thing you have to consider is grievances. Am I in a position to benefit from reducing grievances with other civs by liberating it? Or if I took the civ, is it going to make things worse as far as grievances with other civs? In this case, we have Dido, and she doesn't care about us in any way at all. And Theodora, who's already mad at us because she's at war with us. So we could reduce this, but we're at war anyway, and we're not planning on giving it up, so it doesn't really matter. So in this case, grievances is not something to consider. If you have a lot of other civs going and you're trying to build relationships and stuff like that, or you want to just kind of you've been warmongering a little bit and you want to reduce some grievances across the board, then liberating it would be a better idea. But in this case, it doesn't really matter. Now there is actually a third option that makes sense in some cases. You could just raze the city.
Burn them all!
If the current location could be improved by settling a new city a tile or two away, that may make some sense as well. So now that we've weighed all the pros and cons, what would you do? Would you liberate the city-state, or would you keep it and bring it into your empire? Let me know in the comments.